Hello, everyone. Welcome to Going 19, episode 47. Today, we continue our discussion on chapters 3 and 4 from the Wastelands, the third book in the Dark Towers series. I am Ed. With me are Ali and Amber. Let's start the show.
First Jake and now Eddie. The wheel which turns our lives is remorseless. Always it comes around to the same place again. So the gunslinger's sitting there going, crap. Because, yeah, and Jake is weirdly loyal again.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
And he's like, oh my God, Roland. And Roland's like, oh my God, Jake. And he's like, don't. What is it? I think he said, he's like, don't. Are you going to drop me this time? And he's like, never again.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that for a second.
And then twice
Yeah.
after he has two of those moments and then immediately thinks, but is that really true? I don't know.
Right. And then like the next paragraph, he's like, well, first Jake, first Eddie, now Jake. Yeah, I mean, you knew what this was, so I'm going to say what you want me to, but you know who I am, right? It's not like I've never done it before.
Yeah.
I kind of have a history. Remember, I'm the guy who everyone who's ever known him is dead.
And see, it makes it so much worse though, because at least, I mean, Eddie is naive in his own way, but at least he kind of understands that Roland is only going to care about the tower. Like he might like to hope differently, but I think he knows that deep down. Whereas Jake is a kid. He has been betrayed by this man and he seems to trust him again because he has no other option. And it's like almost like Stockholm syndrome. And he doesn't, I don't think he knows, or even, I'm sure he suspects, like he probably doesn't trust him 100%, but he doesn't have the fear that he should, like.
Yeah.
The suspicion.
Jake, I don't know. Yeah, he's all in on Roland for some fucking reason. And like at minimum, he should have, when he came through that door, he should just walked up and punched Roland in the face. That's for fucking dropping me.
Yeah, right? That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Instead, he's like, oh my God, Roland. And he's crying. He's like, oh, I couldn't wait. Like, your parents aren't that bad, man. They're kind of disconnected, but it's not like they were abusing you or anything. Jeez.
Yeah.
It feels like he was like, manipulated into that feeling because of him going insane and having these two thought patterns for so long, and him knowing that like Roland is the key, and getting back to Roland is the key to getting his sanity back. So he's like so grateful at that point just to have the voice gone and stuff like that, the voices. So
That could be. He had a. Was he? Once he got to once he had the key, he had his own key.
Yeah.
That's what stopped the voices, right? So they both had a key to stop the voices.
Well, they said Roland or Eddie's key muted them a lot, but it didn't stop them because it wasn't the real one.
That's true, and it wasn't quite finished and all that.
Yeah.
I like how Roland's like, you forgot to face your father. He's like, I don't give a fuck about my father. Stop saying that shit.
I love the back and forth between those two. Just like when they're fighting, when they're having, sad conversations, when they're having good conversations, I just love it.
Yeah, he even talks about that, how Stephen King, like some people, either you're good at conversations or you're not, and if you're not, you can't learn it. There's just nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little off sometimes, but he's pretty damn good at conversations.
I mean, that's a lot of his stories are basically like you're, in one setting and having conversations.
Yeah.
Or how do you say it? Memories of conversations.
Yeah, or dreams of memories.
Of people, like that. Half of it is just people talking about what they're going to do, not actually doing it. Because you have to have the setting, the world building, like they call it, established for the action part to make sense. So then they have to talk about, Mike Hanlon has to have a discussion with Bill about what happened in 1927, so we know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
It's like every horror movie. In the middle, they have to figure out what's going on before they go attack the bad guy.
And switch to the Google page search.
Right. Except they call it oogly or something. Like, man, I'm so fucking tired of your jive. Yeah, Eddie's like mad, furious, and he's crying at the same time. And
I
Roland's
mean,
just like,
Eddie's a sensitive guy. Like he has a lot of passion.
Roland, the therapist, talks to him about the key. What does he say? You're afraid of finding you can't finish. You're not afraid to go down where the stones stand. Right? You're afraid to go down where the stones stand, but not because you're afraid what may come once you enter the circle. You're afraid what may not come. He's like, so do it. Shoot me if you're there. I'm tired of watching you blubber. Okay, maybe you shouldn't challenge somebody with a gun who's so mad they're crying. Just saying. But Roland's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, complaining about it's not going to do anything. So shoot me or don't. But let's get on with this.
As
And then
annoying
of
as
course,
he is, sometimes I do appreciate that he's like no BS. Like I don't want to waste time. Like it's gonna happen or it's not.
he's like the anti Dr. Phil. Yeah, he's got no time to discuss it. It's just okay. Is it going to happen? Don't talk about it happening. Do it, or let's move on. Like, well, there's a lot of merit to that, actually.
Oh, this is random, but I forgot we didn't mention, I don't think last time, that the daughter in Charlie the Choo Choo is named Susanna. So when Jake first meets her, he's like, "Does your father by chance own a railway company?"
I didn't remember that, and I think Susanna remembers something like the book with her name, the book about the train with her name, or something like that. Yeah, and then Jake asked her, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess like when I read it, it didn't even register. I had to go back and look at it. It's like, oh yeah, it was Susanna.
I noticed it, and I totally forgot to mention it when we were talking about it. But that's why when he said that, I was like, oh yeah.
There's a lot. The plaster man, I love that. That's doorkeeper. That's what he starts calling, or when he remembers him. In his nightmares, were haunted by. His dreams have been feverish, and his sleep have been haunted by nightmares of the plaster man.
I mean, it's effective because I don't know exactly what he looks like, but every time I say plaster man, it brings up a specific image in my head.
That gives me a better visual than anything else about the doorkeeper and the walls, 2x4s creaking. The plaster man kind of does it all for me. Like, yep, okay, now I got it.
Yeah.
And the watch was cracking me up.
Oh.
because just the way he was worded, it's like right now the Seiko claimed it was 62 minutes past 40 on Wednesday. Like the watch had ulterior motives or something. He kept saying the watch claimed it was this time. He did it too. When he first glanced, the Seiko claimed it was 98:71:65, a time which did not, so far as Jake knew, exist. It was like what's the word? Anthropomorphizing the watch. Like
yeah.
it was up to something.
Yeah.
Like stupid watch. And then Roland just looks at it. Yeah.
I was just gonna say it would be strange though. Like, do electronics from other worlds work in this world?
I don't think they do, because Roland says, what does he say? Well, not electronics, but he says time's funny or something like that.
Yeah, he says we don't really use watches here, something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't usually end well. Every time I read that line across, right now the Seiko claimed it was okay, and it's a Seiko. Oh my god! If it was an Apple Watch and it claimed that, maybe that would make more sense. Because I could see an Apple Watch, becoming self-aware,
Yeah.
like Terminator style. I want to see the gold ringed eyes. The gold. Sometimes they're gold flecked. No, they're always gold ringed, but sometimes they have flecks or flakes. So the eyes aches. Oh, and yeah, that was weird. Billy Bumbler, Roland said. Umber, the creature ejaculated. Like, what a weird way to say that. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Or maybe it's got to be like, wait, it's got Umber. You have to do it with a little gruff voice. mean, I get what he's saying, but I was like, oh, I was like, wait, what? I had to read that one again. I guess he just spit it out all at once, but it was only one word. So, have we on 3:14? He says before Jay could reply, the sound of the drums began again. Have we? When did we Did we talk about? I mean, did they hear the drums already? Apparently, I don't remember that.
I think
I-
they started hearing them when they could like first see the city.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The river crossing city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the drums themselves are in Lud.
Jesus, how loud are they? I didn't even think about that.
I mean, right, and that's far enough away that you can't even see it yet.
How do the people in the
So-
city It's got to be so loud.
Yeah. So that you wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to
I mean-
see. Damn.
We're not there yet. I don't necessarily remember, but I can't imagine you get much done when the drums are playing. But I think they do actually just kind of play the whole time though. Oh yeah, that would be super loud. And do we know what the drums
No.
beat they're keeping? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We do?
Eddie,
Because at the very end,
Eddie says what he thinks it is.
Yeah, so he's like, it's a rock and roll beat. It sounds like the bass line from some ZZ Top song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song, don't listen to it. It's not
Zipper?
good. It's not a
Or-
Velcro fly, right?
Velcro Fly, yeah, that's it. I did
Yeah,
listen to it, and in the comment section, it's all Dark Tower references.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not a good ZZ Top song. I don't know why he picked that one. And the drum, me and Amber were listening to it, and the drum beat was kind of like weird.
Yeah, it's very 80s sounding.
Yeah, it's like ZZ Top. Like they're usually hard rock and roll kind of thing, and it was like they discovered a synthesizer for that song. But the drum beat was not like it wasn't 4/4. It was like an odd time. I don't remember what it was.
So oh yeah, I'm guessing if they're commenting on that is the song then, right?
I mean, yeah. So that's the song. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
We can confirm that without spoiling a whole lot, I think. Once it's given away, nothing happens by coincidence, Amber.
No,
So-
I know. I just for some reason I don't know. I don't remember it being that song. But
Well, stay tuned. I don't remember it not being that song, so.
yeah, no, that's why I mean I trust your memory more than mine especially for Dark Tower. But
Yeah,
that's why I was
nobody's ever said that to me before.
asking.
Although when it comes to Stephen King, it might be a little different.
But whatever. The point is, I guess, that it's a rock and roll song beat that's playing on these drums.
Yes, an '80s rock and roll song. Well, the fact that it was all YouTube or all Dark Tower comments on there was probably gives that away too. That kind of makes it.
A little bit, yeah.
Be they Harry or so. So what's the guy's name? Sai or C? I was reading it as Sai.
I read it as Sai too.
But Sai is SAI.
Well, that's a different kind of Sai. It's like red and read, right? No, but it's like red and red.
But they're spelled the same.
No.
Yes, they are.
SI is Sai.
Oh, you said
SAI.
red and red. I thought you meant red and read. Yeah, okay.
Right, I amended that one. I did say that. And I was like, wait, no, red and red. Yeah, I read it as Sai the whole time. So.
The only reason why I'm inclined to agree with you is because I know that he doesn't follow any Spanish pronunciations, so it can't be C.
Is that true? I didn't realize that.
Calla.
Oh, well, I mean, it's English, Kella. Oh, is that the only? I think we had this conversation. Is that the only?
Sigh.
Anyway, where the hell are we? Jake's there, Ori's there, Caliph is there, the old people, Um, I thought for like 20 pages, Talitha was Mercy because she was looking at something. I was like, wait, I thought you had no eyes.
I
And
had
then,
that moment when she first came on the scene, and then I was like, oh, that's a different person. Okay.
yeah, so these old people live under a church for, I don't know, 80 years now? Is that something like that? It seems, I don't know. Doesn't sound like a fun existence.
Yeah, I
They,
was thinking that
they
too.
basically live in fear underground their entire lives. But
And
when
like
somebody
they don't.
shows up that they, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do they even have like children or any people to carry things on?
I think that was part of what they were saying in their story, that the children have been mutants and they're just starting to not be mutants, which is why the everybody's gonna want
Oh, right,
Susanna to make new ones.
right.
Yeah, because I definitely like. It seemed like people were either becoming like infertile or had kids that wouldn't survive or would, harm them.
I think well, didn't we have a thing in the previous book where they were surprised that Roland's donkey was, what do they call that, threaded stock?
Yeah.
Or there wasn't many of them around or something. So whenever this world moved on, apparently it mutated all the things that did not die, I guess, all the things that stayed alive. Uh, so now we're reasserting ourselves and weeding out the mutations. So yeah, like they live in fear underground and they hide from people. But when the right people show up, like gunslingers, they have the resources to throw a giant banquet.
Well, they probably don't, as Eddie pointed out, but they're going to anyway.
Yeah, that was an interesting take. I was like, well, be you gunslingers or not. I thought the gunslingers credo meant you had to help when they asked for help. So
But they didn't
wait, do we
ask
know
for
that?
help.
Well,
Yeah, they said, hey, we got to be moving on before they could ask for help.
Yeah. The way
yeah,
that
like,
Eddie started saying that, he just reminded me of if you give a mouse a cookie. Like, well, if we're gonna do this, then they're gonna want that, and then they're gonna want this, and then it'll never stop.
yeah, Jake's like, so you're saying it's never going to be enough? Like, yes, asshole. That's what I'm saying. What don't you get? I feel like Jake was a little slow on the uptake there.
Yeah, but he's also an 11-year-old traumatized kid who's really had no one close to him his
Yeah,
entire life.
he's not far removed from a house trying to eat him, so we'll give him a
Yeah.
pass. Um,
It's
how
incredibly empathetic.
how do they not know what the pubes and the grays mean? Because to me, that's immediately obvious.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot what that meant, and I was like, "What are they talking about?"
Yeah, I had no idea.
Well, maybe it's just me. I was like, okay, I know what a pube is. That's a young kid. A gray is an old person. It's like, okay, next.
Well, I couldn't help, but I know it's not aliens, but that was like poisoning my brain, so then I couldn't think of anything else with grays.
Oh, oh, you're going sideways into the universe. Then you can say it's Pennywise. Bob Gray. I forgot about all the Bob Gray until we reread that.
No, that's not what I mean. I meant from Ancient Aliens. Aliens, not like
Oh,
actual
those
aliens.
Grays. Oh, I thought you meant Mr. Gray.
No.
Oh, no, I didn't. I mean, they're all aliens, kind of. Well, I haven't figured that out. So, are they aliens or are they Earthlings? But we don't
The
know that yet.
Greys?
Well, the people, everybody. Is
Who
Roland
are
an
you
alien?
talking about? Okay, yeah, I'm like, are we talking about Stephen King?
Well, he's definitely an alien.
um, wait, what's your question?
Is Roland an alien?
Well, if an alien is defined by someone from another world, then I guess, but then aren't the other three aliens in Roland's world?
Would be.
Sure, it's reciprocal. But is he an alien or just an Earthling on a different Earth?
I mean, I still would consider that technically I don't know. We'd have to look at the definition of alien.
Okay, we're off on that tangent again. Anyway, every time Bill and Till were talking, I just pictured Andy and Ollie. It's just like that's them when they get old. Because they were like finishing each other's sentence. Allie, do you know who they are?
Not at all.
From Bob's Burger.
Oh, yeah, I don't watch Bob's Burger.
Oh my God. Okay, well, then that's probably lost on you. But yeah, they were finishing each other's sentences. I was like, right, Andy? Right, Bill? Right, Till?
Yeah, but I can't pick. I mean, maybe because they're young boys, but I can't picture them telling a story. They're just like super
they're
hyperactive.
They're definitely too ADD to be sitting down with palaver. I imagine they calmed down when they got old.
Yeah.
I like who is it? Talitha. She says, "No one who ever went in search of the black dog, the tower, ever came back." The gunslinger's like, "Meh, Ka." He said, "Ka," the gunslinger said patiently, as if this explained everything. And Jake was coming to realize to Roland it did. Like, he worded that a little wordy, but yeah, as if this explained everything. And well, yeah, because it did.
Yeah, exactly.
Roland is so at peace with, whatever happens, bug it. But I don't think he ever actually believes he's not going to make it to the tower. Maybe that's part of it. He's just like, yeah. And then the other part of it is, Roland, the therapist, who has no time to worry about things that you can't control. It either will be or it won't be.
Well, that's more of what it comes off as to me, is that like he, or almost like I've said before, that he knows something could happen to him at any time. And honestly, something probably should happen to him because of the bad things that he's done. So he's like, if it happens, it happens. But until then, my goal is
And maybe that's part of it. He's got kind of a death wish, not that he wants to die, but if he does, he's okay because of all the well, first of all, he's lived, I don't know what, a couple hundred years, I guess, at this point. I don't think we really know that. And he's done some really awful things, so he's expected to die a long time ago, and he never did. So he probably kind of feels like he's on borrowed time. So I'm just gonna go to the tower. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. But his cough, like he's talking to a 5-year-old. It's cock, stupid. Come on.
I also don't understand exactly what Eddie was implying when he said that, or implying that Roland knows, I should say, because where Roland tells Jake that he can't tell him, but not that he doesn't know. And so it's like, so what does he know? Because he's only said he doesn't know from the beginning. So has he been lying?
Yeah, I remember that. Wait, where is that? What page is that on?
357.
Because I remember there was a significant difference between I don't know and I can't tell you. Because can't tell you means I won't tell you. To me, that doesn't mean I can't tell you. What was it that I can't answer?
So Jake says, well, okay.
What is this tower? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you're there. Just that Jake says, why? How? What is this tower anyway? And then Roland says, I can't answer those questions. I wish I could.
Yeah, and then he's like, that was an exceedingly clever answer there, old long, tall, and ugly. Has he called him that yet? I think he has.
I just don't. Again, I don't know if this is Roland deceiving all of us, or like, what does he know that he's not telling us?
Yeah, that statement definitely made me not trust Roland more. And I was like, okay, so you know something that you're either not telling to them because you feel like you can't, or you still don't trust them, which they literally laid down their life for you. So why are you keeping them from knowing things that could be important?
Especially because like all of them have pretty much admitted that they have no choice at this point. So it's like, if you tell them, what are they going to do? Change their mind and go back home? I don't think so.
Yeah, like they have no way
Eddie,
to.
wasn't that one of the last things Eddie says? Like, it's not your tower, Roland. Now it's us. We're in. You don't have to drag us along. We're here. We're going. So
Yeah.
stop with the, keeping stuff from us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
So I mean, it
Even
doesn't.
after that speech, he was like, "Char means death," and I'm like, "Okay, so you're still keeping things from them."
That's true.
Oh, I mean, oh, Char. That anyway.
It does seem like why not just tell them? Because if you like, why keep
Well,
it from them?
does he know something? I guess I mean it's implying that he knows something. What is he?
Well,
I mean,
to be honest, I just meant about the Char, like as an example of not being able to trust him. It's like, why does keeping that a secret from them protect them in any way?
because Char means, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just didn't come up. Maybe it's just like, do I tell you everything I'm thinking of? Like, maybe he's laying down,
That is
looking
a
at the
pretty
stars.
big detail.
What did Char mean his death?
Or it's
Well,
not, which is also why I'm like, why not just tell them? Like, why is he thinking? I don't know. Maybe it's just the writing.
well, yes, I would say when they were talking about Charlie the Choo Choo, maybe that should have come up because he would have thought of that. And maybe it is a big detail if the name of the train, which they're clearly, it seems, heading towards some kind of train, means death.
Right. The scary
I,
train
you,
that people are afraid of.
yeah, the one I like the kids who says that they always say he doesn't trust. I think it's Jake that doesn't trust Charlie's smile, but someone else talks Susanna or
They all
Eddie or
do.
maybe both.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids seem like they're supposedly having a good time, but they look like they're screaming,
Yeah.
not laughing. So yeah, given all that, yeah, you're probably Roland is
Oh my God.
keeping
Wait, what
secrets.
wasn't Zephyr one of the
Burlington
someone
Zephyr.
that was a song?
No, that's what about it? That's the train, right? Burlington Zephyr.
Yeah, I thought it came up in the ZZ Top section too. No, never mind. Maybe that was the one photo whisper.
I mean, maybe it's in Velcro Fly because I don't know the words to that horrible song. No judgment, ZZ Top. They have plenty of good songs that I do like.
Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter to them.
And it's interesting he put periods in ZZ Top. ZZ doesn't stand for anything. I don't think. I've never seen it with periods in it. So I was like, what?
That is
It's like the
strange.
Zion band now. I don't know.
I will say though, I saw at least one or two like editing errors, so maybe just a misprint.
Jake is clearly, yeah. Then I think some of that is just different. It was written a long time ago. So maybe I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about. So I think I remember looking at a couple things and being on the fence as whether that was right or wrong.
Well, there was a sentence that I read in this section that like the words were switched, and I was like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, Jake clearly starts. First of all, how the fuck are they going to sleep to the sound of those damn drums? They
Oh my
must not be
God.
that. They must be able to hear them, but they're not that loud.
Apparently they're not though, because they don't seem to sleep very well.
Well, I wouldn't be able to sleep on gunslinger burritos and I don't even know if he has a sleeping bag. I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
A pillow or memory foam or anything. But yeah, Jake's falling asleep to the God drums, thinking about the train. Jake starts thinking about the train a lot.
No, he
That's what he
said
says.
so it was as soon as the rhythmic drumming stopped, Jake drifted off to sleep.
Why did Jake say Missouri? Yeah, well, that wasn't my point. He was thinking about Charlie and the I lost my page, so I forgot what I was about to say. Oh, he was wondering if Engineer Bob sabotaged Burlington Zephyr while he was drifting off to sleep. It's like, oh, that's something I never actually thought of. Bob might be a crafty engineer there
he
trying to.
mentions that he mentions that when he read it the first time.
Oh, did he? I will see. Shows you how
Yeah.
good my memory is. I'll have to go back, look at or listen to the previous recording. I love how and he gives Oi. He doesn't just say like Oi said or Oi responded. Jake's like, hey, go out to sleep, boy. And Oi, the bumbler agreed and closed his eyes. Like I just love the way he gives them personality. Like Jake's sections to get to back into the ka-tet, and he spends a lot of time talking about what that is, by the way, and I don't necessarily agree with all of that. And Kef, I didn't really agree with. Kef always seemed to be a food thing, but he made it more of a.
No, he said it
Maybe.
has multiple definitions in his world.
Oh, well.
That it means it also has stuff to do with cooking or kitchen or something like that. So you're right.
Yeah, they're always like, let's share Kef, and they start eating. I'm like, okay. I guess it means you have to tell a story too, because maybe they are telling stories when they're eating.
So is a palaver when you're not eating?
A palaver I take to be like a long talk.
I guess what I meant was, can you eat during a palaver, or does that become something else?
Can you share Kef? Right. So do you share Kef during a palaver, or is it not Kef if you're only talking? I don't know. I don't think he knows. But I wasn't the biggest fan of Jake's journey to the ka-tet, but now that he's there and always there, I kind of can't wait.
Yeah.
Allie, I'm like sad that you're not totally enthralled yet, but you'll get there. There's no way you can't get there because honestly, this is nothing so far. Really, nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Which sounds weird for 3 books, but see, here's what he writes this book, and then like 5 years later, he writes the Wizard and Glass, and then he doesn't write anything for like 5 years, and then he gets hit by a car, and he goes, "Holy crap! I might die before I finish this," and I don't want to be like Tolkien or see like someone else that never finished, like George Martin, although he's not dead yet. Well, I shouldn't say yet. And well, we're all not dead yet, I guess. You look at it that way. So he didn't want to die before he finished it. So after the car accident, he wrote like the last 3.5 books back to back to back to back. So there's kind of a paradigm shift after Wizard and Glass, and it just gets insane. So you'll get there. There's no way you won't.
The longest books.
They are that as well. Well, Wizard and Glass is pretty
5,
big.
and 7, yeah.
4 is almost a precursor. It's like getting you ready for all the shit that's coming. Because it's before the accident, but it's starting to.
When I read this the first time, 4 was my favorite. So I'm curious if Allie, if you're gonna feel the same way, and you might for the same reasons that I loved it. So I won't say anything yet.
Okay.
I am aware of your reasons, and I did. When the first time I read it, 4 was not my favorite. I was. Let's just talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
The white shows up on page 364. I was like,
Yep.
And he even tries to define it. He'd been soldier of what these people call the white, by which he guessed they meant the civilizing forces that kept people from killing each other enough of the time to allow some sort of progress.
So police?
Well, right. So is that the white in the stand? Because if it is, that white's kind of a smartass.
The white in the stand is very different.
It kind of let everybody kill each other and then said, all right. Now that there's 5 people left in the world, I'm going to step in.
Yeah. Only because the other side is killing the rest of them.
Right. Yeah. When he said, well, Allie hasn't read it, so I'm not gonna say anymore about that. But yeah. Then apparently they all have telekinesis. So like he just kind of mocking that one in at the end there. Like, well, remember you didn't open your mouth. Like, well, you didn't mention that at the time.
But I did not mention it, so
yeah, right. I didn't never said it didn't happen, but I didn't say it did happen. Yeah, and Eddie's looking at that's what you were talking about. Eddie's looking at Jake and was stunned by the recognition in his eyes. When he knows who the angel stranger is. Like, how do you know this shit? You just got here. I don't think I've ever heard the ageless stranger outside of Stephen King. I don't think. I didn't know
that either until she said it.
Yeah, it was Merlin apparently from King Arthur. I didn't know that. And then Jake knows who Shardik is.
Yeah.
Watership Down, so we totally dropped the ball on that one. I didn't realize that's where that came from.
Well, he said it's the same author, right? It's not, I don't know if it's the same book.
I think it was supposed to be like a sequel or something.
Richard Adams, the book about the bunnies was 369, bottom half.
Yeah, so the name of the book is Shardik, according to Jake. It was written by the man who wrote that famous book about the rabbits.
Oh, okay. See, I screwed that one up. Well, I don't know that book either.
I don't know if it's
sort of know Watership Down, only that it's supposedly a classic, but I don't have enough time in my life to read everything that they call a classic. I haven't even gotten through 100 pages of fairy tale because we're in a tower and I kind of don't care about anything else. I'm not reading anything else right now.
Oh wow, it is real and it's about a giant bear.
Is it named Shardik?
I guess
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that's probably not a coincidence.
It says the story of a young man who comes across a great bear that he believes to be the power of God incarnate.
Does it have a radar dish on its head?
Have a what?
Does it have a radar dish on its head?
I can't. What did you say?
A radar dish on its head.
Oh, on its head.
I had no idea that he stole that or co-opted it.
Yeah, me neither.
And how did we find out? Because fucking
Jake,
the most well-read ka-tet in the history of the world, told us about it. Was it Jake or was it Eddie? Because Eddie's the world's most well-read junkie.
No, it's Jake. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, there's Jake, yeah. And the turtle comes back. Even though he's dead, they just don't know it. Although
he can't be dead.
He's not, which I think he just kind of, I think when he wrote the Tower, he kind of changed his mind on the fate of the turtle. Or maybe he just left it undecided.
You know what my opinion is, so we already talked about this.
Are we not able to talk about it?
We can, but I disagree. I think maybe that wasn't actually Maturin that died, or it was like something else. Because he's not dead, or maybe it was a different world.
Yeah.
Or a different time.
Maybe it was a different. Weird. Well, how many turtles hold the Earth on their back? Jeez. Like Roland when he looks at the what is he looking at? The portal, and he says it was all suns. It wasn't like a sun. It wasn't like a brilliant sun. It was like all suns. It was everything real.
It's such a like those kind of concepts are not things I enjoy thinking about. Like infinity, you know. Because it's like, how can it be everything when you're holding it or you're looking at it in another world? Like,
Yeah,
I
it
get it,
makes you.
but
It makes you. Sometimes I get uncomfortable with things that make me realize how fragile our existence is. Um, but we'll get off the podcast, and I'll probably watch like air disasters or meteors hitting the Earth or something like that.
well, to be honest, the reason why I mentioned Infinity is there's a special on Netflix that Matt and I watched. I
I
can't.
I saw like half of it, and then it got really long. I started to not care anymore.
That's exactly. So we watched it all the way through, but it's the same kind of thinking, and it's like, well, what do you get when you divide infinity by infinity? And it's like a bigger infinity. So there are bigger infinities and smaller or whatever. And it's just like, stop it! I can't. I don't want to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that was getting out of hand. Like, no, infinity means you can't have different infinities. And then now there's negative infinity. Like, wait a minute. Okay, I can kind of get my head around that. Well, I can get my head around it, but I can kind of get with that. But no, yeah, when you start grand infinity divided by 4, or what? No, that doesn't work. Which is why I only took one physics class, because I couldn't understand what the hell was going on.
Well, physics is much more grounded, unless you're talking about like what is that, metaphysics or I don't know.
Well, at the time I thought what I wanted to do was something that I don't know what it's called now, but it was math philosophy. So it was trying to find
Discrete
formulas
math.
for. Well, that was one of the courses I took. I hated that one too. That was the one with all the boxes, the absolute values. With yeah. Anyway, it's like trying to come up with equations for the unanswerable, like E equals MC squared. Trying to come up with shit like that. Like
Yeah.
you say, why does this happen? Like, I don't know. So what would the equation be? That kind of thing. And then I quickly figured out that I didn't like physics enough to keep doing that. And it's you have to be real good at like multivariable calculus, and I didn't want to put the work in for that, honestly. Once you started doing sines and cosines and circles, like I could get with the algebra part, with the trigonometry part, I just didn't. I couldn't do it. So not that. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick, not to bring it up again, but I was looking up the Matern thing because I couldn't remember if what exactly happened, but then there's a theory that I think is pretty good that because first Pennywise just tells Bill that he's dead, and then Bill sees the carcass later. So like maybe that is just a projection of fear that Pennywise uses, like he uses for everything else. And like we said, the turtle is not meant to help them defeat Pennywise, so he couldn't anyway.
Maybe it was Pennywise, because you never see
Right.
Pennywise. You see what your biggest fear is. Maybe Bill's biggest fear at the time was the turtle being dead or something like that.
Right, the one that he was counting on.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Because he still had to do it, and he just had to do it by himself.
Guess you're not part of the enormous earth.
You're not part of the losers, ka-tet, for sure.
Well, I was talking about Bill because he can't. What
Oh,
did you say? Hold him on his girth or something?
on his right. Wait. In it, I don't remember how it goes in it, because now all I get is the beam one.
Oh, I said that backwards. So turtle of enormous girth, on the shell he holds the earth. Okay.
Right. I mean, you would have to have enormous girth to hold the earth on your shoulder, right? Or on your shoulder. We got how big you have to be to hold a planet. I mean, we're pretty much at the end now, all right?
Yeah,
We didn't have Amber, I can't tell you what I wrote.
I wrote something too, and I said not for Allie.
Yeah, we probably wrote the same thing.
Is it about? Never mind. I'll
about the next book. It's about Susan people in the next book.
Oh, that is not what I wrote down. So never mind.
Well, yeah, charm and death was the last thing, and I
didn't even put that together until you just said that. Okay.
Oh, that's the first place I went. Okay, we gotta stop.
I forgot about that.
So, yeah, it's kind of, to see. I can't really talk about it. So the last page, they're going to sleep. He said both sides would want him. You won't let me drop this time? Nope, not this time, not ever again. Yeah, fuck you, Roland. I mean, why say that? Because you clearly see, you were saying you can't trust him. I think you can trust him, but you just have to know that the tower comes first. So if you're cool with that, and it's between you and the tower, you know how it's going to go. Otherwise, he's pretty reliable.
Okay, even right here though, when we're talking about why doesn't he just tell them? Yet he thought he would keep the knowledge to himself a little while longer. Like why? That seems deceitful.
Jake calls him, well, that's a couple books from now. He's like, no secrets, Roland. You can't do that shit. We said there was going to be no secrets. And Roland's been keeping secrets from day one. Now, some of that I get, like, he's probably like, well, how long is he even going to be here? Like, Walter only put him here to get in my way. So I'm not telling him everything. I'm like, you're going to waste my time because he's probably going to be dead in a couple of pages. But at this point, they're ka-tet. So at least in Roland's mind, that means, yeah, no secrets. That means they're in it to win it.
Also, it's weird that he thinks about that after thinking about Jake potentially, being kidnapped by either side, because that has nothing to do with the train. I mean, it's on their journey, but like, I don't know. Like, unless he means like they're going towards death, like.
Well, it's called Charlie the Choo Choo.
No, that's not what I mean. So he has the thought, you won't let me drop this time? No, not this time, not ever again. But he knew something none of the others did, that it means death. And I was like, okay, but what does that have to do with Jake drop? Oh, okay, I just put that together. That he could kill Jake again. Yeah, okay.
Wait, why does he keep agreeing to that shit? That's what I'm saying. Why does he tell Jake that? Because he clearly, well, Jake knows, but I guess it's the unspoken word. Well, no, I'll never drop you.
I don't think Jake does know. That's what I was saying.
Jake's an idiot then. He's already done it once.
Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier.
Jake's 11. He has childhood naivety.
Well, he's not as dumb as Eddie and freaking Detta, but I mean, Jake's got to know that Roland said never again unless you come between me and the tower. I mean, it's he's got a history. What's the story? Hey, you knew I was a snake. Isn't that even
11-year-old boys don't hold grudges like that typically, or remember, or they trust fairly, at least easier than older adults.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Jake's looking for someone to guide him, and Roland's the father figure, so it's either him or the guy with the guns and the coke. So I guess he went with Roland. Take the guns, no coke, please.
Also, what was with real quick where Eddie was like, "Hey Jake, you want me to hold that for you?" Like, were they worried he was gonna shoot himself?
Oh, his dad's gun?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was, I guess, because he's 11. I didn't put that together. Maybe he's like, "Oh, hey, buddy, maybe you shouldn't have that."
Yeah, that's what it came off as, but it just seemed really like random.
Yeah, but like, give it like 10 pages. Jake will be a gunslinger, so we won't have to worry about that.
Well, but that also makes it even weirder. It's like, I guess because they don't have time to teach him right now.
Right. Well, Eddie doesn't know that. Well, Eddie should know that because everybody Roland's met so far since Eddie's known him has become a gunslinger, which means one person. I guess always going to be a gunslinger here at some point.
Except for Jack. But
well, I don't think Eddie actually met Jack, did he?
Oh, that's true. I thought you meant everyone Roland's met since he met Eddie.
Everyone Eddie's met since he met Roland is actually met, which only leaves one person. So that was kind of. So Suzanne is a gunslinger. I feel like Jake and Oi are on the way. I want to see Oi like slinging some guns, standing up on his hind legs with his gold ringed eyes.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I just kind of picture that graphic there. Like that should be at the end of the graphic novel or something. Do we have any more to say about the old people? I guess the pubes and the grays. Well,
Um,
no, because we'll have plenty to say about
yeah.
that. So we're going to Lud, and I always
Mhm.
confuse Lud with crap.
Oh,
Yes,
Mm.
I always got Toll and Lud and River Crossing. I always had them all. Like it's only when I reread it now, I'm like River Crossing is the name of that stupid town. It's not Lud. So
Yeah, I didn't
I,
realize they were two different places.
I did. It just felt like it was like a little suburb right in front of the city. Like you could look over your shoulder and see Lud behind you. But
Yeah.
apparently not. So, um, 2 weeks not in the morning apparently. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. End of the podcast. Everybody say bye.
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 Bye.